everybody, and welcome to the Red Light 200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. First race of the chase. Today I'm joined in the booth with Dustin Phillips, myself, Mike Fair, and Jamie Christensen is working on some technical issues, but hopefully he'll be up in the booth for the mid part of the race. How's it going, Dustin?
Going good, man. Just glad to be here in Las Vegas. It's going to be a lot of gambling here tonight. Kind of pun intended, but looking forward to the Red Light Las Vegas first pace race of 2015 here, and just looking to call the race with you.
Yeah, it's our first sponsored race here. It is a money race, so we are going to have a prize here for first place. Going to take home $10 tonight.
Yeah, that's a little added bonus. I don't know if all the guys know that tonight, but it's going to be a nice bonus for those guys. And we're qualifying right now, and it looks top of the board. We got Nate LaFleur at a 29.803 and Calvin Allison at 29.817. So going to have some fast times tonight. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, these guys got about halfway through qualifying. We got about 5 minutes left. And you're right, Nate LaFleur is once again up top. He's always pretty good at putting down those single laps. Let's see if he can make it work in the race tonight.
Yeah, I was down on pit road earlier talking to a few of the guys, and they were definitely mentioning how on a lot of their runs the car would fall off pretty good. So we're going to see some fast times here in qualifying, and was looking more on maybe possibly a fuel mileage race, and just taking care of those tires and making them last as long as they can. Yeah,
we've got a couple drivers complaining that it's loose coming off of 4. A couple drivers love this setup, so I think it's really kind of depends on your driving style. As we're on board with James Skeleton right now, sitting in 4th place. It'll be interesting to see what these guys do. You're right. I think it could come down. It's a pretty long race, 133 laps, 200 miles. It could come down to fuel. I know 27. A run of 27 laps would put you short a stop. If you could make 26 or 27 laps, you might be able to eliminate a stop. So, depending on how the cautions fall, we'll see what these guys can pull off.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting, and I heard a couple guys say that gamble between taking 2 or no tires didn't really seem to change the car. So could see a lot of 4-tire stops here tonight. And the guys maybe trying to stretch that fuel like you're talking about. Just going to be exciting, first chase race for a Pro Series here, and got a lot of guys battling, so it's going to be a good turnout.
Yeah, for sure. It's only a 4-race chase, so these guys got to kind of be consistent. Can't really have an incident here. You got to be finishing in the top 5 or so to have a shot at that championship. And with only 4 races, it's not like a full 10-race chase where you can kind of make up for a bad race.
Yeah, and we'll speak a little bit about the battle of the non-chasers. You got Jeremy Patterson, Ricky Goodman, and Calvin Allison. They're all within striking distance of each other, and that has a little added bonus to it at the end of the season. So.
Yeah, for sure. That winning the non-race chase racers, we get a little bit of their own title with a little bit of a bonus payout as well. So that'll be pretty good for them, and gives them a little bit of incentive to race consistently here as well.
Definitely. Still looking at Nate at the top of the boards. He put down a pretty quick lap there. Now, Mike, there's been some talk about possibly going to single-car qualifying next season, so that's going to be something that's going to change the game, I think, for a couple of guys. That way they, got those 2 laps to put it down and see what their quickest is. And I know we're still in campaigning and talking about it, but give me your thoughts on that for next week about maybe some of the thoughts and changes we might make.
Yeah, I agree. I think as a driver, no driver likes this format for qualifying. This format is really for the viewer. And it kind of adds a little bit of excitement, but you're right. I think drivers really prefer to have 2 laps just on their own. They can be consistent, and it's really in their hands. Another driver can't kind of ruin their qualifying. So you're right. I think we're going to discuss it. There's a good chance we're going to go back to that format next season. There's also, a possibility of a couple other rule changes. We might eliminate that the incident points reductions, and lower the quick repairs down to 1. But there's a lot of stuff still up in the air. We're going to be finalizing a season shortly, and hopefully we'll get it sorted out then.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And you know, while we're sitting here, we've only got about a minute left, minute and 20 seconds left in qualifying, and um, looking at Calvin Allison,
User joined your
just
channel.
narrowly beating Nate out for the pole at the moment. So really close up at the front.
Yeah, he did have a little bit quicker of a lap there, and Nate has gone back on track. He's trying to get that position back, but yeah, right now Calvin Allison's sitting on top.
Yeah, we were speaking to a few drivers earlier. James Skelton, I mean, he has been on fire lately. He's sitting third right now with a really quick time. And I was watching him in practice, and he was really consistent, doing some tire runs it looked like, and really trying to conserve and make him a long run car. And he looked good, man. And I don't know who I'm going to pick yet for the race, but it definitely looks good so far.
Yeah, James, he's still a relative newcomer to both our leagues here, but he's been consistent and he's been quick. So, I'd like to see how he's going to finish off the season, and hopefully next season we can get him full time here at the league.
Definitely, he's been definitely a good asset to our league.
And with that, qualifying has come to completion. Looks like Calvin Allison does keep his time. Nate LaFleur second place, James Skelton third for your top three.
Yeah, very good. Buckley and John Fershing rounding out the top five. So nice to see Butch Frazier up there. Got a sixth place starting position.
User
Looks
in your
like.
channel timed out.
It's gonna be good to see if he can run up front here.
Yeah, it's always good seeing that yellow car, in the top couple rows here. Definitely, he's been around since the beginning, and I like watching him race every week. Looks like these guys are just gridding up. I apologize to viewers because of some last-minute technical difficulties. We don't have all the normal broadcasting features that we normally have, but we'll do our best to get through the race here tonight. Jamie's going to be in and out. I know you're going to hear some of my team speak communications just because I'm not normally the one who's broadcasting, so please don't let that discourage you. Watch the race. It looks like it's going to be a good one here to start out our chase.
You're right, Mike. It's gonna be fun to hear call you in the booth, and maybe shortly we got Jamie. He was down there, had a last-minute meeting on pit road, so hopefully we'll get him up here to the booth here in a few minutes. And love to hear Jamie. He definitely makes it exciting here at Navscar.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done a race without Jamie in the booth. Hopefully he gets his Windows stuff sorted out, and he'll be joining us here shortly.
Mike, I was looking here at the top eight of the chase drivers. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of our chase drivers. We got Josh Buckley, Nate LaFleur, John Fershing Jr., James Skelton, David Howard Jr., Kevin O'Brien, Keith Haney, and Jonas Hankins. That's going to be pretty exciting to see these guys over the next 4 races determine who's going to come out with this championship. So definitely going to be something every one of those guys in that top 8 are going to be searching for.
Yeah, and it's really anybody's championship. They're all pretty close in points. With the amount of bonuses that you can get from wins and participation and stuff, really, it's anyone's championship. So these guys, like I said, I think they're going to put on a good show. Some of these guys are running yellow numbers, yellow spoilers, and they have a little chase decal on the side of the car. Hopefully that'll help us identify them, but we'll call them out throughout the race as these guys get going. Let's go through the grid here. So, starting first row on the pole, Calvin Allison. Outside on the first row is Nate LaFleur. Second row,
we're going to have James Skelton and the number 2 of Josh Buckley, 2-time winner this year and current points leader.
Row number 3, we got John Fershing Jr. and Butch Frazier.
Row 4, we're going to have the 911 of Will Long and the 26 of Dale Albright.
Row number 5, we got one of the owners over at Red Light who's kind enough to sponsor this race, Jeremy Patterson, and on the outside we got Andrew Packer.
And in row 6, we're going to have the 913 of Jonas Hankins and the 904 of Jordan Beck.
For row number 7, we got Ricky Goodman, also has a win this season, and Keith Haney.
And row 8, Brent Cowboy Rodgers in the number 8. Good to see him here this week. I think he's going to have a pretty good long run car. And then the 994 of Kevin O'Brien.
And to just final up that last row, we got David Howard Jr. and Dustin. You're joining me in the booth, so we will ignore you on the reports here.
Sounds good. It's good to be up here with you, man.
For sure, we always like having you up here. So these guys, looks like pace car is going to be coming off right here, and we're going to be going green.
There they are. They're green.
Guys get pretty cleanly through turn number 1. We do have, looks like James is on the outside, or is that Nate? Nate LaFleur is on the outside. Trying to get by James there.
Yeah, you definitely, I think there's gonna be a multi-groove here tonight, so we'll have to see how that turns out. James really pressuring the 28 of Allison right now, so he's wanting that lead.
Definitely much different than an Indianapolis race where there was really only one groove. There's definitely multiple grooves here. We'll see guys kind of run around the track and try and find something that's going to work for them here.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's kind of tucked in line here. Maybe going to ride a little bit, but like I said, these tires fall off pretty good after about 5 laps, so we're going to see guys just settle in here hopefully as just ride a little bit.
Hey guys, how's it going tonight?
Jamie, buddy, good to hear you. How are you doing today?
Hey, not too bad. Finally got things back up and running. You gotta love those updates.
Yeah, good old Windows 10 launched today, so I'm sure a lot of people are feeling your pain.
I hear you. So how's the race going tonight, fellas?
Looks like
All right,
everyone's
Jamie.
off to a great start, man. They're just kind of sitting in line. Dustin, what's your take so far?
You know, like I said, a pretty clean start. Everybody's kind of single file riding. We've seen a couple guys duck under trying to make moves, but pretty much everybody's being patient. And they got this long race, so like the top 4 is breaking away a little bit. But it's been pretty exciting so far.
Yeah, it looks like we get some real close action to start out the race. We don't see the field kind of too spread out. Looks like everybody's running pretty consistent laps here.
Yeah, I think we were talking about earlier, these guys were complaining about a loose car in practice, and you know, these guys typically run pretty hard in practice to feel out their cars, and then when the race starts, they realize that they got to be a little bit more conservative, take care of their stuff. So we might see these guys kind of just be content with running around. Their talks on a fuel run is about 25, maybe 27 laps if they can push it. So I think right now that's their goal, get to that first pit stop.
So I'm assuming you guys picked drivers already. Who'd you go with?
You know what, buddy? We didn't pick drivers. You can start us off.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to go with Nate LaFleur, honestly. I know he's been putting in some laps. He's been strong and consistent up to this point. And, you know, he's always there at the end. He even finds himself down, you know, a lap or two, but he's pretty consistent to make his way through the field. I'm going to go with Nate LaFleur tonight.
Dustin, who you picking?
Jamie, I like your pick. You know, I have to say I like Calvin Allison, but I'm going to pick a chaser tonight. I'm going to pick, might be a little bit of a surprise, but I'm going to pick James Skelton. He's been pretty strong. Looks pretty strong here early, so he looked good over the last couple, you know, this week in practice. So really excited to see him and see how he does in the chase here.
I think
like car in the wall there.
my choice. Oh, do we have a car on the wall? Let's see if we can take a look. I didn't.
Well, there was a car that hit the wall hard out of 4, but looks like he was able to keep going.
It's good to see. I'll do my chase real quick. My pick. I am going to go with Calvin Allison. I know he's not a chase racer, but I think because of that, he's motivated to kind of get out there and win some races. You know, he kind of, you know, he doesn't want to spoil it for some of these guys, but you know, maybe he kind of does. He wants to get out there and you know, because he missed those races, it kind of hurt him in points. But he's got something to prove here, so I definitely think he's one to beat here tonight.
Yeah, I think that car was Dale Albright. He seems to be a little bit off pace right now.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. Calvin's definitely going to be strong here tonight. Like I said, he's had a ton of practice here this week, and he's pretty quick everywhere. But like I said, I like to see James do well. Allison's the easy pick, and we're going caution here.
Yeah, we do have a caution. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Did anybody catch what happened? Dale was off the track there, but that was earlier in the race.
I have a feeling it was Butch Frazier. He's got some pretty heavy damage there on the front right of his car there. Looks like he may have gotten into the wall.
Let's see if we can take a look here. Oh yeah, he's the first victim of just a loose car coming off fourth. He almost saves it, but then overcorrects and just up into the wall. I don't think that'll be the last one we see here go around tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to agree with you. I was in the car earlier in practice, and it was definitely pretty free. You definitely had to pedal the thing a little bit.
And we do see that a little bit. I don't know if you guys talked about it already, but we've already seen guys use different lines around the track, different entry points and exit points. But I was watching Cowboy in the 8 car there, Brent Rogers, and he was definitely running that a high line. Usually that's a sign of a car that doesn't want to suck to the bottom and handle the way you wanted to. So definitely things to watch for in tonight's race. I think the ones that are able to put that car down towards the lower part of the track are probably going to be the faster ones around the track, honestly. But what do you guys think about that?
I think you're right. I think the lower portion of the track is definitely going to be quicker, but I think these guys are going to have to kind of back up the corners here to be consistent. And I think ultimately a consistent lap is going to be a quick lap. As we see a couple 2-tire takers and a couple 4-timer takers, looks like Jeremy's the only person on track who took 2 tires.
Yeah, and I was talking to a few guys earlier. The 2 tires didn't seem to really upset the car like it does at some places. So we'll have to see how that strategy works. Under caution, I think myself I might have taken 4 if I'm going to come in because we saw several leaders stay out. So definitely James Shelton looks like the first car to take 4 and be off pit road. So we'll have to see how that works out for him.
You did mention a key point there. Top 7 drivers on the track did not pit, so it'll be interesting to see how their tires go. We're only halfway through a run here. As David, I believe, David Howard Jr. does pull off, so that's top 6 drivers do not pit. So we'll see how this restart goes.
Yeah, Mike, I was looking, and James, he was running second. He did pull in and take 4 tires. We'll have to see. He's right behind Patterson that took 4, and everybody else in front of them stayed out. So it's going to be kind of exciting. James don't have too far to see the front. We'll see if the 4 tires makes a difference over this next run, and if this turns into a fuel mileage race, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, some of these guys could be thinking fuel mileage. That's one reason not to come in on lap 13. So these guys might have a game plan that they want to stick to. Let's take this time just to talk about real quick our sponsor, redlightleague.com or redlight. What's the website for Red Light?
It's redlightleague.com.
Redlightleague.com. Our sister league. They run Monday nights. You can check them out on Twitch as well. But go check them out. They were kind enough to sponsor this race. So this is their race for us. And like we said earlier, the winner of this race, even though I don't think they know it, they are going to get a $10 iRacing credit for winning this race. So it's good to see that we had some people step up to sponsor. We're trying to secure some other sponsors for next season. Hopefully, once we get things sorted out, we'll be able to do that. But yeah, I think that's a nice little bonus for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And to keep talking a little bit more about Red Light, their next race is at Darlington. Always, the Lady in Black can be an interesting track for
User
a lot
left
of
your channel.
drivers. Not a whole lot of places to pass, and it really seems to be a type of a groove track, if you will, in that there's definitely one way around the track. You might find another one, but if you're not very familiar with the track, you can find yourself in a whole bunch of trouble real quick. So,
Yeah, you
uh,
definitely have to be comfortable with running an inch off the wall, and if you can be comfortable with that, you'll be quick there. But it's a unique track. It's nothing. There's nothing like it out there, and man, I would not want to be a chase racer with no experience at Darlington and going into there next week. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I hear you, and I would expect quite a few of them to come out of there with their Darlington stripe.
Oh yeah.
User joined your channel.
Just a quick recap before we go green. With the red light, they've got their top three in Sean Butler, Nate LaFleur, and Max. And they believe it's Theribolt.
Terrio,
You know,
Max Terrio.
oh,
Yeah.
Max Terrio. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yep, top three over there. So, get ready to go green.
And looks like Nate is going to lead us to the green flag here. Calvin Allison on the inside. Sorry, Calvin did have lane selection, but did stay with that inside line.
Yeah, and I don't know if Nate had the restart he was looking for. He's trying to squeeze in there between him and Josh Buckley, but they make it work and head down the backstretch.
Yeah, we're looking back towards the back of the pack. It looks like Andrew Packer missed a gear there and stacked a couple of the guys at the back of the field, so kind of tough break for him.
Now I'm noticing Calvin is using the bottom of the track there, coming across the start finish. Has that been the norm for a lot of these drivers? He's really the first one I've seen do that.
Yeah, a couple of these guys have dropped down for sure. I've noticed that. I don't know what kind of advantage they're getting as we got a car going around.
Still seem to be under green.
Yeah, it looks like I swear I saw smoke, but everyone's definitely still moving forward, so that's good.
Well, now is the time to use those tires. I mean, with those guys going with four tires on the under caution there, it's time to use them. But it's interesting too because obviously you don't want to burn them up and you got to cool them down a little bit. But I've seen some guys try to test out that high line, and that always seems to be an interesting task because while you might have new tires, they don't last for too long, and it definitely gets slick up there. So.
As we ride on board here with Joshua Buckley, you can pay attention to his throttle here. Going through the turns, he's trying to be quick back onto the throttle to maintain that speed, but he's just blipping it on entry as well. And we're going to watch. I bet you he comes down onto the shoulder here, and you can see how violent the change in banking is. And coming back up onto the track, it looks like it really wants to upset the car. I'm surprised these guys are using it every lap.
Yeah, some people have different opinions with that. Some of them really don't like doing that because of the fear that it does upset the tires and that it gives you kind of makes the car handle different as you're transitioning through.
We got top 5 cars all pretty close. Jeremy Patterson is hanging on. You can see the top 4, and then these top 3 are racing real hard here. Looks like William Long and Jonas Hankins are having a battle here for 6th place as well. Looks like Jonas gets loose. Oh, and he goes around. William just taps him in, and looks like they collect a couple cars. Oh, a bunch of cars getting collected in that wreck. Just watch a replay here.
So, Mike, if while we're under caution here, did you happen to mention the paint schemes by the chase drivers?
Yeah, we briefly talked about them. Let's see if we can get some chase drivers up on the screen after we watch this calamity. All these cars running into each other. I'm sure the radios are kind of on fire right now, but let's get back to live here and we'll take a look at these paint schemes.
Little calamity corner.
Just a little note here. It looks like Calvin Allison, the only one of the leaders that stayed out. Interesting move by him. We're here at lap 22, and
Yeah, I'm
getting
not.
pretty close to fuel range, so we'll have to see how this works out for him.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice there on with three to four. Maybe, with these cautions, probably about 5 laps away from a pit stop. But yeah, I think I would have ducked in on that one. We'll see how it plays out. Let's take
Yeah,
a
Mike, he does some funny things sometimes. We may see him duck down here on this second lap. Um, get that extra little bit. Not going to get him much difference here than the leaders, but just an interesting move there for sure.
I got Joshua Buckley right here on camera. We can see there that he's got that bright yellow number on the side and top of his car. He's got a yellow splitter up on the front of the car and a yellow spoiler as well. It's kind of just signifying that he is part of that chase race. Somewhere on there is probably a chase badge as well.
So, Oh, I seen Keith Haney sticking out there. I believe I see some damage on the front end of that car. Hopefully, he's able to get that repaired and fixed.
Yeah, he does. He is coming down pit road there as we speak. But Kelvin does stay out. You know what he might be doing here? He might be waiting to the last possible minute, drop down, fill the tank up, and just have a couple more laps than all these other guys. But he's just going to give up that lead to do it.
Yeah,
True.
it's definitely interesting to see how that's going to work out. Jamie, somebody we hadn't talked much about tonight is David Howard. I know he didn't probably have the qualifying lap he wanted, but sitting third here on this restart, and he's already made a stop. So let's see how now that he's up here with the leaders, if he can get back on schedule.
Yeah, I would agree. David Howard Jr. is one guy we always like to talk about. He's a class act out there on the track, and he's definitely got the skills to get around the track as well. He's definitely a will man. I think you're right. He's one to I've seen come all the way through the field, and he's impressive that way, and he knows his way around. So I'd look to see him. Currently sitting in third, he'll be contending for that lead here soon, I think. I'd also be real interested too. Howard's got Brent Rogers in front of him. We've been seeing Rogers run that higher line. I don't know how well that's going to play out because if he can't make that car stick on that lower line, I think the cars are just going to dive bomb underneath him and really try to take that position from him early. So something to watch on the restart.
Just watching Calvin here. He's shutting off the car. He's saving all the gas he can here as the lights go off. So we're coming to green next time by, and he did not come in. So my calculations, he's got maybe 2, 3, possibly 4 laps before he's got to come in. Maybe he's hoping for a quick caution.
Jordan Beck, actually, in the 904, he's been having a heck of a race already. Top 10 right now, currently sitting ninth. Good race for him. Again, he's I want to keep saying he's a newcomer to the league, but he's definitely ran quite a few races with us already. So good to see him getting currently a top 10 finish, or I'm sorry, top 10 position right here on the restart. So.
Guys, we get ready to go back green here. It's going to be interesting to see. We got Nate LaFleur. He's first car that took 4, starting 4th here on the outside. If depending on how this restart goes, might see him have a chance to take the lead here for the first time tonight.
Actually, I think Brent is the first car. Well, Brent stopped once. He took 4 tires. This Nate's kind of... Well, here we go. Let's see what these guys do. Green flag.
And I'm showing Bill Long. It looks like he must have been in the pits trying to get some damage fixed as he tries to make his way back out there. So he's currently a lap down.
As we see, Cowboy definitely didn't get a good
Yeah, he's
restart there. He kind of stacked him up on the top side.
3 wide there for a minute, but everyone gets it sorted out as the number 2 looks under the number 8 here for position. And Cowboy's just going to kind of slide a little bit back on that high side. No one likes being stuck on that high side, especially when you don't want to be there, so I'm sure we'll see him duck below when he gets a minute here.
Boy, Calvin Allison just looks fast out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, that clean air, man. You get into clean air and you got a fast car, you just kind of pull away, especially when these guys are racing the way they are, as the 907 pulls off the track.
And
Yeah,
again,
so-
go ahead.
No, sorry, Jamie. I was just going to mention that Nate LaFleur, I knew he was going to try to jump to the outside of the 8 there with fresh tires, but I think he got held up. We'll see if he can start to reel in Calvin there with those fresh Ford Goodyears.
Yeah, and you called it there, Dustin. You know, the 8 had a good starting position, but I knew he was going to run that high line, and that's just not going to work around this track and be fast. He might be consistent and be there at the end, but that was
As
definitely
the
not going
caution
to work.
flies again.
Oh man, that's perfect timing for Calvin.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. He's my calculations. I was looking at it. Looks like he may cut out an extra pit stop, depending on how we go green here, by just staying out different from those other guys. So we'll have to see how his strategy works.
Anybody catch what happened there? Notice the 907 is slow.
The 913 is pretty slow too, so 913 of Jonas is also slow, and I think Jonas didn't Jonas go around the last time around?
Yeah, he did cause that last caution.
I can't. I don't have a bookmark on it. I'll get you guys to review it, and maybe you can give us a little bit of a heads up, Dustin, if you can look at that replay with the 907 maybe, and just fill us in on what happened there. But Calvin, like I said, he would have been coasting back to the start. Like he was due to come in, so he's going to fill up that car. Worked out pretty well for him. He's still going to get leapfrogged by a couple cars who aren't going to pit, obviously, because they just pit. So we'll see how his restart goes here.
Yeah, I was able to go back and take a look at the replay there, Mike. It looks like Jonas was going on the inside of Keith Haney there, and just got into him a little bit. Keith Haney came down into Jonas, and then they collected the 904 of Jordan Beck. Jordan Beck didn't go around, but he sustained a little damage on that. So Keith Haney not really having the night that he was looking for here.
Yeah, definitely. He hated to see it on Monday night over at Red Light. He had some connection issues. He was one of the faster cars, so tough break for him.
Someone's got to tell these guys we're at lap 30 of 133. Still lots of racing to go here. As Calvin comes back in, maybe gonna just top it off one more time. You know, he's behind a bunch of cars, so nothing hurts for coming down and doing it again.
He's definitely working that fuel strategy. We'll see if it plays out in his favor tonight. We're going to get here later on as this race goes and probably see some green flag runs, so we'll have to see if that stopping there and a timely caution was going to help him out in the long run.
Well, if we're, guys are talking about doing 25 laps, 26 laps. We got 103 laps to go, so these guys are definitely thinking smart. Get all the fuel they can into it, and if they can run 25, maybe 26 laps, they can short pit everybody else that is on the track right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys got to, either calm down or spread it out a little bit. There's nothing worse than being caught up in an accident early on. Got to use that quick repair. And the two people that it happened to, they're currently the last two spots in the chase. So with Jonas and Keith Haney, and they don't want to take themselves out of contention. I mean, we've seen it in NASCAR a lot, but I think it's going to be similar here. Do you get a mulligan in this four race stretch, or if you have a bad race, are you out? What do you guys think?
Yeah, we did speak to that a little bit earlier in the race. I think you're right. I think that with a four-race chase, you don't get a mulligan. There's no work in that back. So you got to be consistent. Maybe you don't necessarily got to win all the races, but you're looking for top five finishes to be competitive near the end.
Yeah, with as fast as these guys here are at the top of the chase, up front all year, and they're smart guys. They're gonna be here this whole chase. So it might be to where you're gonna have to win a couple races just to have a chance to take home this title. So I'm excited. I know the rest of you guys are excited. So soon we get here and get ready to go back to green. I'm really excited. I know we've looked, and we've got Nate and John and Buckley all up here, and James. They're all chase drivers, and it's going to be exciting restart here.
Now that being said, these guys are all chase drivers, so you think these guys are going to kind of lay off each other, or maybe they've all got something to lose.
I've actually seen a lot of give and take. I saw on that last restart, even the stack up that they had. There was I know James checked up really good to let a couple guys get in, and hurt himself a little bit, but was very respectful and let the guys in, and not didn't run over him. He could easily dove it in there pretty hard. So
Yeah, I agree as well. As the pace car looks like he's going to dive in here. We go green. Nate dives really low on the shoulder there. That low line's really moving really well there. Those outside cars kind of backed up. It looks like Jeremy might even be able to pick up a couple positions.
And look who's coming through the field. The 907, David Howard Jr. is just making his way through traffic there. He started back in 11th, already up to eighth position. I think you were right, Dustin. I think David's got a fast car tonight, and I think his problem right now is he's got to deal with traffic.
yeah, and I think track position is going to be a big key tonight. As right now, as we see a lot of guys, even Calvin back there mired in deep in the field, he's got to worry about some of those guys that maybe not as fast as the leaders. Working his way by them and then out burning the stuff up to get to the front.
So, Dustin, when you were out on the track earlier, what kind of setup did you go with? I know we run the fixed series here, but everybody's always tinkering with the steering ratio and the steering offset. You think that's affecting these guys tonight with the looser setup?
I definitely do. I tried a couple of different settings. Definitely like about the 14-to-1. -2 offset kind of deal tonight. It felt good. The car felt balanced. I've heard some guys were going 8-to-1. Some at 10-to-1, some at 12-to-1. So you got different strategies and different offsets. So I definitely think it's going to play a factor in tire wear tonight, especially as quick as the tires fall off here.
Yeah, I would agree. With that higher steering ratio, drivers want to go with that to conserve on the tires a little bit, but I don't know that it really gets you a whole lot of speed. But I think it, like you said, it kind of depends on the driver's style. Some drivers can make it work. So as we see Keith Haney coaching pretty close there on Brent Rogers, looking for that position.
So what kind of moves do you guys want to make? Where are you passing? It looks like these guys might be struggling to make things happen. Once these cars kind of get in line, we got a bunch of cars trying to get down on the bottom, but it just doesn't look like they can hold the speed. Maybe they're worried about getting loose, but passing looks like it seems to be pretty difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I think.
definitely. Sorry, Jamie. Yeah,
Go
definitely
ahead.
passing. I've seen. Well, we just saw Buckley make a pass for the lead there all before. I think it depending on how you set the guy up, coming off the corner, looks like definitely a lot of passing, and probably completing that in the next corner. So it's definitely a full-on effort here to make a pass. As you know, Buckley's still trying to fight off Nate up front.
And the draft does come into play here a little bit. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you can draft it up to the guy in front of you. You can pull up real quick, but like you guys are talking about, it's that pass and making it stick. And I think a lot of guys are a little bit hesitant in the corners there to try to get underneath somebody, knowing that car wants to push up.
Yeah, even watching Nate kind of just get right on the bumper of Josh on that backstretch, looks like he was even pushing him a bit. And you know, that can be a strategy. You going down the backstretch and you get on that guy's bumper and just push him into the corner, it's going to tighten the car up and kind of run him up the hill where you can kind of jump down and make that pass underneath him. So we might see that move come into play later on.
Yeah, Josh Buckley, he's definitely watching those guys behind him, seeing where they're running, and I think he's got a lot of confidence there in Nate LaFleur, and knowing that he's going to be real mindful when he checks up a little bit or lets off the gas to get into the corner. So I think that's just a good sign of consistent drivers and drivers that run together. So again, we continue to see the benefits of the league and racing with the same drivers week after week.
Just watching the 8 and the 907 race real hard back here. Looks like Brett was on the inside of David. Kind of ran him up the hill there, but these cars stayed off each other, and looks like the 907 of David Howard was able to get around Brett.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think that's where it gets interesting because, like we've seen all night, Rogers has been running that higher line. He's not been able to put that car down on the white line in the corners, and when you're duking it out with the guy next to you, it always makes it a little bit more difficult.
Hey, someone I've liked tonight is old Patterson. You know, he's sponsoring this race, but he's not going away without a fight. He's sitting there running pretty close to that top four and really run really consistent tonight. So it's good to see him up front.
Yeah, he was talking during practice. He really liked the handling of his car. He was sitting there, like, "What do you guys would say? It's loose, man. I really like it. It's tight." And he was about 6th, 7th. He had a top 7 car in practice, and he knows he's a little bit slower than these leaders, but he realizes it's not a one-lap game. This is definitely something you want to kind of stretch out, and he's been able to keep hold of these guys, and still going to be there at the end as Kelvin is now behind him, and Kelvin's looking to set his sights on these leaders.
Yeah, I think the agenda up here for these guys running up front is we got 3 teammates running in the top 3. That there's going to be a lot of give and take and a little bit of riding right now. They know it's a long race, so the times have fell off here probably about a half second over this run. So we'll see these guys just settle in and make sure that they're just hitting their marks.
You guys were talking about Patterson and Calvin Allison right behind him and Keith Haney. Allison is actually putting down faster lap times than our leader by about 0.3 of a second. So as the laps click off here, he's definitely making his way up there, and we even see Patterson closing in on that lead pack.
Yeah, Kelvin's last lap was a 30.01, and the leader's lap was 30.25. So he's about 0.2 quicker. He's definitely gaining on these boys.
Yeah, we got to remember that last caution, he did pull in and had a little bit of strategy, and he's got a little bit fresher tires than some of those other guys. So, like I said, it's going to be what do you do? Do you go to the back and not pit with the leaders and try to do a fuel mileage run and catch these guys over the long run, or do you stay with them and stay up front and battle with them all night? It's going to be several different strategies, so we'll have to see how it plays out.
Kelvin knows how strong he is as well, so he knows that he can kind of do some different things, get back on the track, and make up some time that he might have lost by his strategy. So, and 3 or 4 laps, he's going to be fighting him past, for fifth, fourth, and third. So we'll see how that goes when he actually catches him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Calvin, if he holds true to what he's done in the past, we're definitely seeing him come in, gas, 2 tires, and out. 6-second pit stop and back out there. So looks like got some interesting stuff right in front of the leader there. So
Yeah, Andrew's he's definitely bouncing off the wall. As a leader, you never like seeing the lap car in front of you bouncing off the wall. So hopefully everybody gets by him cleanly here as they approach him here. Looks like Andrew's going to kind of jump down to the inside. Smart thing, very courteous. Knows that he doesn't want to ruin anyone's night here.
It was just a few laps ago we had a change for third. Firsting over the radio just to let James by. So, like I said, we're looking at these guys being a little courteous, and they're realizing that won't be too long before maybe some of them have to come down pit road for some fuel. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Just riding on board with Calvin as he did just complete that pass with Jeremy. He's got the 4th place in sights. Let's see if he what his line looks like here and how quickly he sucks up. Looks like he didn't really get off that corner very well. Let's check his lap times here as we cross the start-finish line.
But wouldn't you guys agree that these long runs are probably more advantageous to Allison than anyone else?
Definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely he's a smart guy with his tires. He knows how to take care of stuff, and he usually has really consistent long runs. And we say it time and again that it's really about that being consistent as we go through a race. He's hold steady at about second and 1.1 behind the leader here. But he's definitely got his sights on 4th place.
Yeah, I talked to him earlier on pit road, and he was joking with me. He says, I didn't make the chase. He won 3 races this year, and he said, it don't pay nothing for second. So he's one of those guys that he's definitely gonna know that he's got to be up here and battle for the lead, and he's going to bide his time, and I guarantee you he'll be there at the end.
Looks like the leaders have been able to kind of open up a bit of a gap between 3rd place. John's kind of fallen back to 0.7 behind 2nd place, and in a second here he's going to be really running defensive to kind of keep Allison behind him, but I don't know if he's going to be able to.
As we coming up on green flag pit stops, it looks like the leader's going to duck in this time.
Yep, Josh Buckley on pit road. This will be interesting to see how much further Calvin can go than the leaders. He did all that stuff earlier on to try and extend his lap runs here. So we'll see when he ducks off. That was only about 20 laps from, I think we were around 30 laps when we pitted, 33 laps. So these guys should have another 3, 4, maybe 5 laps. As 2nd place and 1st gets in, looks like Nate LaFleur had a challenging entry there, but looks like he collected it, kept it off the wall. Wonder if he got a speeding penalty there.
Yeah, and Allison really he takes over that 1st position and it's not coming in, so he keeps going around the track.
Guys, I'm not sure. I was taking a look at that replay with Nate. He possibly could have got a speeding. We'll have to see how he made it to that first shoot, but he was definitely about 65 mile an hour getting them locked up there.
Yeah, his pit stop 23 seconds. It looks like so. That sounds like 2 tires and a penalty.
And with Allison sticking out, he's putting a lot of these guys that pitted, obviously, a lap down. And he's definitely got the field spread out now. So
yeah, it definitely makes everyone nervous, because if a caution comes out, you're really trapping these guys a lap down. But they would probably get the wave around because Kelvin, most likely, I don't want to say definitely, would come into pit. Looks like he's coming in right now, actually.
Yeah, coming in hot. Oh, we get a car going around. Looks like he might have been able to save it. It was James Skelton that got a loose car there. He's able to keep going down the track.
Yep, turn 4 once again. Calvin's right sides are up. And he takes 2 and he rolls off. So nice quick 8.1 second stop for him. He's going to get up to speed. Currently in 7th place. Definitely on a different pit strategy than everybody in front of him. So we'll see how this plays out as we get closer to the end of the race here. Keith Haney leads the field, but he is on pit road as well. So are most of the leaders.
Let's see if Allison just goes with 2 tires here. No, he's going to pick up 4. So
Who? Sorry, who are you talking about?
I was talking about Calvin Allison.
Calvin is already on the track. He took 2. Calvin's back up to 2nd place. Butch Fraser, interesting, 3.9 second pit stop. I mean, he's been in the pit 6 times this so far this race, but his last pit stop only 3.9 seconds, so that's gas only.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mike. I was looking at Dale Albright. Kind of close-looking cars there, so.
I hear you. Right now, Butch Fraser does have a 14-second lead. It's closing rather quickly, so I guess Butch is probably on pit road. Yes, he is. So after everybody cycles through, Calvin has leapfrogged John Furshing and Keith Haney. 1, 2, 3 right there, all pretty close, within 0.3 of a second between 1st and 3rd. We're at lap 60, so we're about halfway as Keith gets loose, does recover it. No, maybe not. Caution is out. Almost recovered it there.
Yeah, Keith is having a rough night tonight. Not the way he wanted to start out the chase here, but doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of damage to the car. So
yeah, you can see here as we look at slow motion, he just kind of skidded that car off of turn 4. Turning right here, he does save it, but just overcorrects it a little bit and turns back up for the track and spins it around the other way. It's a tough thing to save, especially as you cross that banking line. And good job keeping it pretty much down off the track. We do see that caution, but nobody else gets collected in it.
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry there. I was going to say I think this is going to be a good break for Nate LaFleur, having that trouble he had a little earlier. He's going to be able to come in and, if he's got anything going on, fix it and get it going and be here on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's currently 9th place. The lowest he's been tonight is 14th. Highest he's been is 1st, and he started 2nd. So he's been in the pits 3 times. We'll see what happens under this set of caution here.
Yeah, the track temp is a little bit warmer. We do have overcast skies with 65-degree temps, but the track is at about 70. So, I don't know if that's playing into it at all, as the track is just a little bit warmer than that air temperature, but always different things to take into account for if you're driving one of those cars out there. And, we're under caution. We see the cars coming down pit road. Pit road speed tonight is about 50 miles an hour.
So as we see, the leaders kind of ducked in there last minute. James Skelton was in 3rd. It looked like he was going in. He jumped out last minute, but I think he ran over that commit line. So it'll be interesting to see if he got a penalty or not. I don't know if you want to take a look at that, Dustin, just on your end and see. But it looked to me like he ran over that commit line as the leaders, the 2 in front of him, came in and he jumped out.
Just a second.
Do we have an in-car reporter tonight, Mike?
I don't think we have an in-car reporter. We do have a roving reporter of Raymond Edge, but I don't know if he's going to be joining us tonight or not. I'm sure if you want to drop down and have a little conversation with one of these guys and see what the story is, that'd be cool.
Yeah, just take a quick look at James. He definitely made the move before the commitment cone. So
User left your channel.
Good quick move by him. We'll see if it works out for him getting some clean air.
Awesome. As it looks like he's coming down now, so maybe he changed his mind.
I'm thinking maybe he wanted to lead a lap. I think this.
You know what? You're probably right. That definitely got him one lap led, so I think you're correct.
User joined your channel. User joined your channel.
All right, so we're joined in the booth here by Raymond Edge. Raymond, what's going on there? I know you've been going through the different pit stalls. Been talking to the crew chief of the 28. What's going on there?
A lot of chaos right now. 28's trying to figure out what he wants to do. Definitely tire management and fuel has been a strategy of all the hooligans tonight. So I think they're just going to go with it and see how it all plays out. He come back up through the field pretty quick earlier, so.
Yeah, he did catch
Calvin can be.
Yeah, I think he caught a pretty good break there. We were questioning him on lap 25 and staying out with. He was saving real hard. We were in his in-car, but staying out with maybe 2 to 3 laps of fuel, and we were definitely wondering what he was thinking. But a caution comes out, and he's able to basically coast in to get some gas. So, but he drove up through the field, and I'm sure he's looking pretty happy with his position right now.
Oh yeah, he's definitely happy about it. And I think what happened today. I understand that him and Jordan spent a lot of time out in the sun, so I think the sun might have got to him on that pit stall thought, but I don't know. You know Calvin. He likes to play strategy.
Hey, I've learned not to question his strategy because he's always there fighting at the end. So.
Oh yeah, he loves coming up through the field, just making it work.
So we noticed the Andrew Packer in the 967 had some early troubles here. Any word from that crew and on what was going on there?
I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, he was running really good in practice this week. I think from what I was watching, I think he's just overdriving the car a little bit. Maybe trying to get more out of it than what it's wanted to give him. So I talked to him, get him calmed down, tell him just drive his line. He should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The last question for me is, we've Brent Rogers is found himself up there towards the front, but he's been losing positions. He's definitely running that higher line. I don't know if that's exactly working for him. Is he? How's the radio chatter been?
Brent is playing conservative. He's just trying to make it to the end and make the push when it comes to the last few laps. You know Brent.
Yeah, Brent's he's definitely a smart cookie, trying to keep those tires clean. I just hope, you always take a risk when you run conservative, run mid-pack. You get collected in somebody else's problem, and Brent is he's unfortunately been in that spot before. So looking forward to see him kind of finish the race tonight. Hopefully he can have a little luck on his side and not be taken out before the end.
Oh yeah, keep a watch on him. We're 65 laps in, give or take, about halfway there. So, yeah, you can probably see the 8 car start pushing his way towards the front here for long. I know he's running pretty good in practice there and trying to get a handle on the car. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. He'll make his way up there.
And as we go green, looks like these two are going to bring us to the start.
Yeah, it looked like David Howard Jr. was having some connections issues that disappeared from my screen anyway. But yeah, they're definitely duking it out, and Rogers gets on the into the door there of LaFleur.
He just likes that high side. It looks like he's struggling to keep it on the bottom, and when you get a car out on your outside, it just can get kind of hairy there as the 986 dives below him here.
I'll tell you what, James Skelton. I mean, he done some 3 wide earlier, but he has been fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, all these guys have been pretty good. Like we've seen a couple incidents with 3 wide racing, and people have been pretty well keeping each other off. But it's been entertaining as hell, man. These guys have been putting on a great show, especially up front. We've had 4 or 5 cars been able to stay within sight of the leader. So I know it's going to be a good race as we get to the end.
Yeah, I was going over some lap times earlier, and that's what I was telling the guys. I was like, the whole entire field's within 2 or 3 tenths of each other all throughout an entire tire run. So, I mean, it's going to make for some fun. Whoever can save their tires make that fuel strategy work, because it's going to be the one to make it.
987's going around the 907 as Calvin goes underneath him. We definitely got a 3-wide situation brewing here. Calvin thinks smart about it and goes up high, maybe going to try and go around the outside.
Yeah, Nate LaFleur was not having any of that as he dives low and he looks underneath Howard Jr. and Allison trying to make it 3-wide going into the corner. That's definitely not going to work.
Yeah, Keith Haney's just trying to keep all this stuff behind him.
Yeah, and he's had enough incidents tonight. I don't think he wants any more. He just wants to see these guys battle it out behind him, maybe put a little distance between him and Allison, who's just looked like he may have gotten into the quarter panel there of Howard Jr.'s. Howard Jr. actually kind of just slows up a little bit. So
just a little rub in there, looked like. Definitely Calvin jumping all around the track, finding that preferred groove, trying to make that pass work, but he was able to get around, and 907 looks like he got it all collected, should be okay. I'm sure he'll be figuring out how to get back up there.
Yeah, he's going to have his work cut out for him, though. He's definitely found himself back in traffic, surrounded by a small pack there, but you're right. He's a good driver. He's probably just got to get that car back up to speed and get back into line there.
Once again, we got John Fershing and Joshua Buckley back up front, running 1-2 right now. Guys are all just kind of in line, looking to turn some more laps.
Yeah, and Buckley being the points leader right now is definitely going to want to be able to capitalize on that as we see Howard Jr. get loose coming out of 4. He's able to maintain the vehicle and keep driving. So good for him, but going back to Buckley, being our current points leader going into the chase, he'd like to add to the point standing here and kind of secure that position as much as he can.
Yeah, for sure. There's nothing better, for the first chase race is to go out and pull a win off or maybe a second place. Like it just starts your chase off right. And kind of gives you a little bit of breathing room as Calvin looks like he's going to try and make a pass here on Keith here real soon.
It does, but I think it's also kind of a coincidence that the car in front of Josh Buckley is the person that's in second in points. So we could see him either tie up here or swap as John Fershing Jr. has been able to lead quite a few laps this evening.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, these guys are teammates and they do have a lot of respect for each other, but as we get closer to the end of the race, man, I don't think Josh is going to be happy with second place. I think he's going to probably race real hard as we get closer to the finish.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm quite certain there's no team orders tonight. Calvin is just hunting these guys down. I think if I was Calvin, I'm predicting he's going to push the issue. He's going to try to go through that field as we see him get under Haney there for the third position. And I have no doubt in my mind he'll get underneath Josh Buckley for second if he gets the opportunity.
Yeah, he made that pass pretty cleanly, almost perfect setup there, and just dives inside for the straightaway and is able to complete the pass going into 3. So, he's just kind of setting his sights, ticking them off, and it should be interesting as he gets to the bumper of Josh here.
And it does look like Allison's there kind of searching for different lanes to operate in. And he's definitely got a different lane on the front stretch. But when we get into the corner here, as he's right behind Josh Buckley, all over the back end of Josh Buckley's too.
Yeah, he's not letting him, letting him off easy. He's kind of making him wonder where he's going to go. Is he going to go high? Is he going to go low? He's just kind of darting. If you're Josh looking in that rear view mirror, you're getting kind of sweaty here right now.
I would absolutely agree, Mike. He knows he's there. He's looking on the outside, but you can't really make that work on that corner on coming out of 4, but we see him dive down below. He's underneath Josh going into 1.
Yeah, man, I swear he used the grass to hook that car and make it turn there. He's definitely as low as he can go on that front stretch. Didn't work out for him that time, though.
Yeah, it's so difficult to pass in those corners, and you seen him maintain that car down on the lower line, but he's probably using a little bit of tires there. He'd like to obviously be in the line that Josh is in if Josh wasn't there, and we see Buckley go to the down low on the front stretch.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of a defensive move, thinking that Calvin was going to use that line. But Calvin takes the opportunity to go up high and tried to make that work there as well. We might see a crossover here. Calvin or Josh gets a little bit loose and slows the car up.
Yeah, we seen. I raced with Josh on Monday night over in Red Light, and it's definitely interesting to see. The two goes into the wall with looked like a little help there from the 28. Hard to say from our angle, but yeah, that looked like.
See if we can take a look at a replay there.
No yellow either as a result, and this is. I think we're going to see Buckley kind of fall back here. Buckley back to 6th already.
Yeah, guys, it definitely looked like Allison got really, really tight in the center there, and they just got into each other. That's a tough break, man. Hate to see that. Buckley was running real strong, so we'll have to see if he can recover from that. Still a little ways to go here, so.
Yeah, Calvin did what he could to stay down there, but just that little touch kind of threw Buckley up into the wall. Hopefully we can see Josh kind of get back up there.
Yeah, that's, two guys fighting for position, and, you got Allison on the low line coming up, and you got Buckley on the high line coming down, and it's a perfect storm, honestly. The two come together. I mean, I'm sure, both those drivers are clean drivers. They know how to handle their car. I think it's just an incident where, like I said, you got one coming up and you got one going down, and there's only so much real estate, so something's got to give. And it didn't look like either one of them were going to let off that throttle. So I think we just see a product of some hard racing there. As Allison continues his drive to the front, and now working on John Fershing Jr. here on first place.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Buckley. He definitely had a good run going. It's not over yet, but you definitely tell he's a little frustrated. He was trying to let all these guys go. He was feeling he had some right front damage. He was letting the crew chief know there.
Yeah, hopefully these guys can work it out after the race. We won't see any fists to throw in, but it happens. Like I said, like Jamie, you mentioned, it's hard racing, and it's expected when these guys race as hard as they do. All these guys, they're not the type of guys to, especially the top 3 right here, are not the type of guys to kind of move over and let you by. So they're going to run real hard for those positions, and unfortunately, every once in a while, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we've seen Allison now into on the side of 2 different cars this evening. I don't see any damage whatsoever on that 28.
Yeah, I think most of the damage that Buckley got was from the wall. The contact was very minor, and I think it happened at the worst possible time. It just kind of tightened up Buckley and pushed him into the wall. But the actual contact on the track was almost nothing. Just going back into the pack, looks like David Howard Jr. and Jeremy Patterson are racing pretty hard here for 8th place as Jeremy kind of drifts up the track and 907 is going to go underneath. These guys have got a lot of experience racing with each other, almost 3 years from what I understand, so I'm sure these guys know each other pretty well and will race pretty hard.
Nate LaFleur into the wall hard out of 4. Still able to hold that 3rd position, but I'm pretty sure he's got some damage right now.
Oh yeah, looking at his in-car, that front right fender is kind of buckled up a bit. Did he just do that on his own?
Yeah, he did that all by his lonesome.
Running in 3rd place where you got the leaders kind of pulling away from you, it just, you get kind of antsy. You kind of want to push the car a little bit more than you've been pushing all race, and real easy to push the car up into the wall here.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, he's got Keith Haney right behind him, and honestly, it is like blood in the water, right? When you see the driver in front of you have a little bit of trouble, you drive a little bit harder, and you know Keith Haney's obviously aware of the driver behind him and doesn't want to lose the position, and so they really start overdriving that car. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
You know, we've got about 45 laps to go. We should be getting close to, you know, pitting again. Looks like everybody's probably going to have to pit 2 more times, unless I'm mistaken.
And it looks like Buckley's dropped back to 10th position here.
Yeah, that car, you know, has a lot of front end damage. His last lap was a 31.3, where the leader's running at 33. So he's a full second off the pace right now. He's probably just trying to get to his window so he can pit and get some repairs. But we'll probably see another caution, so that's going to bring him right back up into the race.
Yeah, and we do hear drivers start calling for that they're pitting, so letting other drivers know. So
yeah, Calvin Allison does drop into the pits a little bit before everybody else, which is different from what we've seen before.
Doing a little short pitting.
Yep. Let's see what he takes here.
2 in gas, Calvin. 2 in gas.
I would be willing to bet. Those are right sides again, though. He's changed those already, but
There
2,
he goes.
and he goes. We got the rest of the leaders coming in here as well. Let's see if we get any guys doing some weird stuff. But you got to fill up the tank, and you know, even though we only run 50% fuel, filling the tank is enough time to change right sides. So I don't think we'll see anybody just take gas.
Josh Buckley was in and out and has got a clean car again, so he's eager to get back out there.
Once again, Butch is leading a couple more laps here. He's out front. He's got a 15-second gap, but he's going to be coming into pit here any minute. As he gets down real slow, looks like it'll be this time. So with that said, as pit stops, Calvin was able to leapfrog the cars in front of him, kind of did all that hard work in the pits. Now he's going to have some clean air. He'll be able to kind of gap the guys here. We'll see what he has as he slides around turn 4 there. He really slid the car, and that's allowed John to kind of just suck up to him. Really kind of close the gap there.
Yeah, and I see Allison and Fershing Jr. swap spots here, but Fershing's fast, and he's not letting Allison get away and put a gap on him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on him as we complete these next couple laps. He's not going to want to let him get away from him here, so he's probably going to want to try and see if he can get around him.
They are definitely running a little bit different lines in the corners, but looks like John is playing a little bit more conservative, just letting the car be a little bit higher. But you know, they kind of change positions here in 3 and 4 versus 1 and 2. So So I'm showing Kevin O'Brien being our first car one lap down. Is that what you're seeing too, Mike?
Yep, Kevin O'Brien is the first car lap down. Looks like Ricky Goodman might be being passed here, so Kevin's going to need a caution to come out before Ricky gets past if he wants to get that lucky dog.
So Dustin, here's a question for you. You know, if you're Calvin Allison, you know, you talked about a little bit earlier, he's kind of bummed out a little bit about not being in the chase after winning 3 of the races, but just due to a schedule not being in there. But, you know, he still has the ability to be the top in points of the non-chase drivers. You know, you think that's in his mind? You think he's going for those dollars instead?
Oh, that's definitely in his mind. He's like I told you earlier. He said, you know, second place doesn't pay. So he's definitely, you know, as he has been all season, looking for that win. He's hoping for next season. He's looking forward to trying to carry that momentum on and try to run for the points next season. But as far as right now, man, he knows he's not in the chase. Best he can do is finish that ninth spot and get that little bit of cash. So he's eager to go out and win every race he's going to be at. So I think he said he's going to miss a couple chase races. So we'll just have to keep an eye on him. But he's definitely said he's coming for everybody.
So yeah, absolutely.
We did talk earlier about some rules changes coming up for, you know, possible rule changes for next season. What do you guys think about the win and you're in format?
I'm 100% for that. I mean, I really think it's just going to add to the competition leading up to the chase. You know, I don't think we're going to see anybody rest on the laurels just because they win.
I agree. I think it'll add a little bit extra. I think we're, you know, definitely something we want to take a look at. I don't know how we're going to do the race requirements. Like, I don't want guys to think that they could win one race and then not show up to the rest and be into the chase. We'll have to figure out some sort of, you know, attendance rule, but definitely a win and you're in would definitely take the heat off some of these guys, allow them to do some different things, and could see some interesting competition throughout the season.
Looks like they're wrecking on the front stretch.
Did we catch who it was?
Looks like Buckley again.
Yeah, it looked like Buckley just got loose coming out of 4.
Yeah, that car still looked like it had some damage there. Maybe not. Oh, it got loose and then just like connected and shot up the track. Let's see if we can ride that on board with him.
Yeah, definitely some hard contact with the outside wall for 4.
Yeah, you can see he's off the throttle. It snaps loose, but then like just immediately turns right, and yeah, that's you know, might have seen some earlier frustrations just kind of carry over, lost you know, concentration for a second, and that might end his race here tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to say, you know, the psyche of the driver, right? He's probably not too happy about what happened earlier, and with that being said, you know, you got a question as to whether or not that's affecting him. But, you know, Buckley being the points leader going in, you know, he's a professional. I mean, I'm assuming that he's cleared that from his memory bank, so to speak, and is driving. But I'd look at this as maybe just a blip. He'll get his quick repair and get back out there if he still has any. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out right here as he pulls into his pit box. Let's see if that car bounces back. Didn't look like it did. Yeah, I definitely still see some right front damage. So he's going to sit there. He's going to get that car worked on a little bit. Hopefully he can get out before being put a lap down.
So we were talking about Allison right before the caution there. He is 11th in points, and he's only two back from Patterson and Goodman. Um, if he happens to miss a couple, that'll be interesting. But he has a high probability of taking over that ninth position here.
I think he'll have to remember though that a couple of those cars in front of him are really consistent at showing up for races. So hopefully he can make them all. If he does miss one, it's going to really set him back. I don't think he'd actually be able to finish in ninth, let alone be qualified for that extra purse. Because I think we did mention that you have to run all the chase races to qualify for that little that little purse there. But hopefully he can get it all worked out and show up for these races. But he's well on his way to challenge for the win here tonight. And just a reminder that this win is going to carry that $10 iRacing credit. But there's a bunch of drivers it could go to tonight. We got John Fershing out front, Nate LaFleur in second, and James Skelton. James Skelton in third, and it could be anybody's race here.
But we do see Allison come in, first car, past fifth place here. Actually, the second car now, but comes in, tops off the fuel tank. I'm assuming he's good to go until the end.
Well, it's a 20. We said 26, maybe 27 under green flag conditions. We got 30 to go. We're doing two more. I think we'll see him duck in again and fill up. Let's see here what he does. But I'd be willing to bet we see him duck in.
And there he is, ducking in.
And a bunch of drivers know that if we get another caution, I think one more caution would probably set us up for being okay on fuel. It'll be right there. I'd be willing to bet, if we do get another caution, these guys are going to be shutting it down. And first and second place, these top three, these guys got to really hope for some sort of miracle because, they definitely aren't going to have enough to go unless we see possibly two or three more cautions.
Is Buckley still in the pits?
He is still sitting there getting repaired. Yep.
So this is definitely going to shake up the points a little bit, considering Buckley is the current points leader since the chase started. So we'll have to see what kind of impact this has, as I have a feeling he's going to go a lap down here. So nice recovery there by the 913 of Jonas Hankins, currently showing in the fourth position here. He'd like to put that car out front, but he's definitely got some stiff competition up there in the first row. But we'll see how it plays out here on the restart.
As we get a green flag, these guys are off. James is definitely taking the opportunity to use that low line to his advantage here. He's trying to get around John, make it get out in the lead, maybe get some of that clean air. He's led a couple laps this race so far, looking to lead another one as we battle here to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I want to say James has got the preferred line going into one, but the outside, John Fershing Jr. really making that line work for him.
Nate's way up and almost into the wall there.
Yeah, Nate's feeling that pressure from Haney underneath, and Haney's going to go ahead and take that position here. But Haney gets loose in three and coming out of four. Into the grass, into the infield.
See if he can keep it off the track. He's really at speed here. He's able to keep it down. Good recovery there, no caution.
got a good battle here going between Rogers and Hankins. Rogers must hit the switch and decide it was time to go. He's moving forward as Hankins is falling backwards here.
Heard over the radio the 913's going to make a pit stop here. I think it's scheduled, but I think he's going to be good to go for that.
Yeah, he should definitely be good to go from here. We'll probably see everybody who didn't think, or everybody that couldn't go to the end, should be jumping down here at some point to get that splash and go.
Yeah, and big run here by James Skelton. Looks like he's going to go ahead and take that top spot. You know, Skelton is fourth in points right now. This is going to be a nice jump for him if he can finish here in the top three. And he's been running up top here in both leagues. Wouldn't be surprised to see him on the podium tonight.
Be interesting though. I still don't think these guys up front, as wow, John almost gets up into the wall there. These guys, I don't think they can make it on fuel. The first couple cars possibly could be Brent or maybe Calvin that came in and topped up. So we'll see what these guys need. I think they're hoping for a caution here.
Yeah, and that slip up, if you will, or the car getting loose by Pershing Jr. really allowed Skelton to get a little bit further out and get a little gap there.
Looking at 19 to go as we cross the start-finish line this time. Yeah, it should be interesting to see how this plays out. Brent sitting in fourth, and Kelvin's right behind him in fifth. Jeremy Patterson in sixth. David Howard Jr. seventh. Keith Haney in eighth. William Long in ninth, and Ricky Goodman rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, we don't really see Allison gaining on those guys. He's running a little bit faster than our leaders, but he's not running fast enough to where he's going to make up considerable ground on them.
Let's do a little bit of comparison here as we run into turn 4. He's running 8,200 RPM as he enters the corner here. Let's see what he's running as he gets into that turn number 1. 8250, just flirting with 83. Now let's jump up to the leader, James Skelton, sorry. Let's see what he's running RPM-wise as we jump in. 250. These guys are pretty close. So I wanted to see if possibly Kelvin was saving some gas. Might be getting on the throttle a little bit late. You know, I'm sure a lot of these guys are. They've got gas on the brain right now.
I would agree, but you know, to your point about saving gas or maybe conserving a little bit out there, I don't think Allison has anything to lose. You know, he's come in a couple times. He probably feels pretty confident about the fuel that he got and what he can do with it. We've seen him at the earlier part of the race actually run more laps than everyone else, and as they came in under green flag conditions, he stayed out for a couple more. So he probably feels confident that he can make it to the end.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I'm not 100% confident he can. We'll see what happens. I don't think these three guys can make it at all. I think Calvin is probably the first car that really has a shot at it, but I think if we don't get a caution here, I think it's going to be tight. He's going to have to conserve, but you know, we'll see. 15 laps to go as we cross the start-finish line.
And we just heard the leader call in, he's pitting. He's going to go ahead and pit this time.
I wonder if we'll see all three, or if we're just going to see James come down here. And the way that all of these cars have kind of spread out, I think there's a bunch of cars trying to save fuel. James does get it on pit road there.
And now we see Rogers and Allison closing that gap. It's a, 4-car grouping here. Brent Cowboy Rogers is looking real good. He came on strong here at the end. Here I've been talking about him not being able to put that car down on the lower line, and you just see him take that low line coming into 3, now pressuring LaFleur for 2nd.
Yeah, he definitely just turned it on here, and I'm 100% certain Calvin is not running at 100%, or he'd be right there with these guys.
Now we're hearing the 915 call out that he's pitting this time, and so is the 981.
Brett Rogers
to the lead.
Yeah, he's going to win or lead a lap here. It's good to see that number 8 out front. Haven't seen that in a while, so hopefully he can pick up a couple laps here. And who knows? Maybe he's got enough gas to go to the end. He could win this one.
Now, Mike, I'm showing Josh Buckley 3 laps down. Is he out there?
Yes, yeah, he's currently on the track. He doesn't look like he's really up to speed. His last lap was 35, so he's just kind of turning laps. He knows he's got to he's got to make up any positions he can. So maybe he's hoping these guys are gonna wreck in front of him. But he realizes how far off the pace he is as he drops down to the shoulder just to get out of these guys' way. But he's running quite slow right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We talked about it earlier about not being able to, no mulligans or not being able to have a mulligan in a 4-race chase. Being his only saving grace, if there is any, is that he is the points leader, but he's only got the points lead by 1 point.
You know what, though? We've got 3 other races before the end of the season, and, what's happened to Josh could happen to anybody in the next 3 races. So he's not out of it by any means, but he's definitely thinking, I just got to turn some more laps. I got to possibly make up another spot or 2. I got to hope that somebody wrecks. But with 10 to go and being down 4 laps, 5 laps, he's going to have to need something to happen pretty soon here.
Yeah, I would agree. We're at Las Vegas tonight, and we're going to Talladega, and I've heard Josh say before he likes the super speedway, but at the same time he doesn't. So if he doesn't have a good finish here tonight, going to a track that, you need a dancing partner to get around the track and be competitive, this might not be what he wanted. He's definitely strong on those 1.5 miles. We got Auto Club and Charlotte. I think Auto Club's a little bit longer, obviously, but it's I don't think this is gonna play out in his favor, because we all know how these super speedways can get too. It's you think who the leader is gonna be, or who the winner is gonna be, or who's got the fastest car, and the next thing you know, between fuel strategy and just accidents out on the track, you see somebody you didn't expect to see in victory lane. So.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely see how it plays out. Just watching Calvin right now. Calvin's turning, 30.8. Actually, I think he just kind of picked it up a little bit, but he's a full second off of his fastest lap, so he's definitely in conservation mode. He's got to keep an eye on that relative, though. David Howard Jr. is about 7.5 seconds behind Calvin, so he's going to be watching, making sure that David's not really catching him, because he's got to keep him behind him. I think he knows now that whatever's Brent's got, if Brent's got enough to go to the end, I don't think he's picking it up here real
Yeah,
quick.
he is putting it down now, and he's definitely he's dropping down to that lower line in the front stretch, and lower line is an over exaggeration because he's down on the apron of the track. So
It could
he's
also be that like Brent just ran a 31.5 on his fastest 30, so he's a full second and a half slower than his fastest. So he could have just come and realized that, you know what, I need to start saving fuel. I'm not going to make it to the end.
I'll just let you all know they're going to make it.
We'll see here. With 5 laps to go, you know, these guys are. David Howard's not catching them for sure. Calvin is catching Brent, so we'll see how it goes. These guys are definitely the gambling type. I like seeing that.
They are gambling, and they are going to be really, really close.
And how about our 5th place driver right now, and Ricky Goodman?
Yeah, Ricky's always been a guy to run the numbers, and he's probably running that same strategy. So he's turning in about the same pace speed as the leaders right now, but he's got Keith Haney just right behind him, running almost half a second quicker. So if he wants to keep that top 5, he's going to have to pick it up. But you know, he might be thinking gas as well. Looks like Brent has pulled out 1.2 as Calvin's down on the apron and just getting really loose.
Caution.
We have a caution. Wow.
And I think that may be the end.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah,
that's
I think
the
that
end of
would
the
be it.
race.
So if you're Brent Rogers or Calvin Ellison, have you cut the engine off?
They probably have. I'm just saying. I know they're fuel guy.
Looking at the replay right there, looks like couple car contact between Jeremy Patterson and it looked like Jonas Hankins, if I'm correct.
Yep, I believe you're right there, Mike.
User left your channel.
Well, we haven't called out Rogers' name in a while, have we?
Hey man, it's good to see him back out front. I'm hoping he makes it to the end because, you know, with the amount of luck that I've seen Rogers have in the last, 8 or so races, man, I wouldn't rule out running out of gas here. So.
Yeah, let's not jinx him.
Let's go on board and see.
Yeah. I was just going to call that, Mike. I was like, let's go on board and see if they're cutting it off.
Well, he's running a consistent 3,400 RPM. He's not cutting it off. Let's drop behind and check out Calvin. Calvin as well is just running 4th gear, just running it, you know, nice and easy. I think these guys think they're good to go. First one to run, putting that clutch in. I can see Ricky Goodman. He's running at 1,000 RPM. He's kind of just dropping that clutch and coasting as he pulls the clutch back out and uses it to get back up to speed here. But good to see him be able to secure a top 5 finish.
So who's the big winner out of this tonight? From my perspective, it's going to be Keith Haney.
Well, yeah, you know, finishing, he looks like he's in 6th. Is David Howard Jr. in the chase?
Yeah, David Howard's the big winner to me tonight. He's 996, which is in 5th place, so he's the big winner in my book. He didn't lead the laps that he needed, but
Well, he got one, so
him.
he is going to get a bonus point for leading the 1 lap. He's going to get that top 3 finish, and you know he's got a bit of a buffer between him and Keith, who's going to finish 6th. So that's good for him. He's going to get a couple extra points than Keith and John and Nate and James. Like he could be close to the gaining some spots as we will update the points after the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nate LaFleur being a lap down, he's currently in 9th. James Skelton, he's going to take a big hit here, being a lap down, second car lap down, being currently 10th in the race this evening, but he's 4th in points. So to your point, Dustin, you're absolutely right. David Howard Jr. is the first chase driver that's got a good position here. So I think we're going to see David Howard Jr. and Keith Haney move up, and we're going to see the top 3 slide down here, or it's going to be some real close points standings here going into Talladega.
Yeah,
He's
You're right, Jamie. It's definitely going to tighten that up. Trying to do a little bit of the calculations, depending on who led the most tonight. It's going to put those boys pretty close together at the top. So, exciting race. Good to see Grant pull out the win, and I'm sure, like I said, all them boys down at Hooligan will get down there and celebrate with him here shortly.
So just to confirm, you guys pull up your stats. I know I've been having problems with my iRacing TV overlay with showing the wrong finishing order. Can you guys just run down that finishing order for me from iRacing?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. We're going to have Brent Rodgers obviously winning, Calvin Allison second, David Howard Jr. third, Jeremy Patterson fourth, Ricky Goodman rounding out that top five. Then we're going to have Keith Haney, William Long, John Fershing Jr., Nate LaFleur, and James Skeleton rounding out the top 10.
Awesome. So, my first 1 through 3 overlay here is correct. Everything from fourth on back, it looks like it got a little bit messed up. It kind of lost Jeremy there. So Jeremy did finish fourth, Ricky Goodman fifth, and everybody else just 1+ on what you're seeing here on our fourth plus. Let's get the winner in here and have a little chat with Brent Rodgers.
User was
Cowboy, buddy, getting the win, man. It's good to see you back up front.
Yeah, this BR Solution car was definitely sucking the fuel there at the last there. Just trying to save her fuel that running about 7,500 RPMs, me and Calvin both, and we were sweating it and kind of got lucky with that yellow coming out there because we would have been coasting across the finish line, that's for sure. But,
I was going to say, you probably saw that yellow and were like, whew.
Yeah, I definitely was sweating. But we're happy to get a win.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us about your race. Looks like you guys were both thinking about fuel almost most of the race there. I know Calvin was doing some interesting stuff early on with pit stops. So what was your strategy all the way through it?
Just kind of keep my nose clean there and be there at the end. That was my main thing. I wasn't, just hit my marks, get my rhythm, and then be there at the end. And it worked out for us tonight. Kind of happy.
Yeah,
we're going to celebrate tonight.
I bet you will be. Hey, Brent, this is Jamie up in the booth. It's one of those things too. You're going to hear me talking about if you watch a replay of the race where I was talking to both Mike and Dustin about my concerns about you running that high line, especially at the beginning of the race, and then all of a sudden you really turned on the switch and all of a sudden I see you running the low line and you were just making up a heck of a lot of ground. Was the high line definitely part of your strategy in that keeping the nose clean, or is that just the preferred line that you had starting the race and got more comfortable going down to the lower line, or what was the deal with that?
Well, I don't know what the ratios the other guys were running on steering. I was running the 16-1, and I was just staying high and trying to use less tires I could. And I felt like on the long runs, if we got long green runs, that I was able to start reeling them in. Then I could start getting down because the guys were trying to stay low, and they were burning up their tires, I think, a little too fast. And I felt as the race went on there, my tires, I was starting to reel them in, and hit my mark. So that was kind of my idea there. And of course the fuel mileage, it came into our hands. It just happened that way. I decided to stay out and chance it, and we got that lucky yellow. So sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you're not. And tonight it was our night.
Well, good deal, Dustin. You got anything for a race winner tonight?
$10. $10.
Oh yeah, $10 to the winner. Congratulations,
put
buddy.
it in the kitty. Put it in the kitty.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy. It's always good to see you up front. You're my hero when it comes to these things, and you definitely put on a show as far as biding your time and making it to the front. And just as a fellow hooligan, it's good to see you up there, buddy.
Well, thank you much. I've been out behind the seat for a while here and not getting a lot of practice lately, and I felt like it was starting to take effect on me, and got lucky tonight with everything that fell into our hands. And sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good any day. Let's put it that way.
Well, you're being kind of modest, though, aren't you, Cowboy? I mean, you won Sunday night in the touring series. You win again tonight. I mean, you've got some momentum behind you now going forward. I mean, you got to be looking at that, climbing the ladder here a little bit, looking at that top payout for the 9th position in points.
I guess going to church pays off.
Well, Brent, man, you've been with us from the beginning of the league. You've been here since day one. It's good seeing you up on top. And hey, man, hopefully we can see you up there again before the end of the season.
I'm going to give it my best. Thanks for having me, guys.
Have yourself a good night. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
User was moved out
All
of
right,
your
let's get
channel.
second place Calvin Allison in here and talk about his race.
User was moved to
Calvin,
your
man, second
channel.
place. Looked like you were running on fumes there at the end. Probably happy to see that caution come out, eh?
I wanted it to stay green because I was gonna speed up and see
Yeah.
if I could outcoast Brent to the checkers.
Yeah, you guys were definitely conserving. You look like you had that game plan right from the beginning. Can you tell us about? Okay, so that first caution, buddy. We have a caution on lap what 23, 24. We're running about 25, 26 laps on a tank, and you stay out. Can you tell us what you're thinking on that first caution?
I was just trying to lead laps. I like that clean air on my car.
Kind of worked out for you because it looked like you were going to jump in and pit, and we got a second caution, and you were able to get down there under caution and fill that tank up.
Yeah, I didn't want to push it no farther that last time. I only had about 10 laps showing, and it probably went down to 5 once we went green. So I figured there wasn't no point in me running out and then going laps down, trying to make that up the rest of the race.
So you were definitely busy in traffic this evening, though, too. I mean, while you were out front for a majority of the time, you were also having to deal with some traffic back there. I know, you and the two were racing pretty hard, and I believe you were also racing with a couple of other drivers back there. How was traffic for you?
It was tough at times. It seems like once you got a certain amount of laps on your tires, you'd start getting a bad arrow push. If you got below somebody and they could keep you pinned down, I mean, you just got to take what you can get when it gets like that.
Noticed you were running pretty hard. You were moving all the way around the track, making passes. You were, dodging up and down the track, going high, going low, and I noticed a little bit of contact between you and the number two, kind of sent him up the wall. Do you remember that incident?
Yeah, it's on lap 79. I told him if he wants to go back and talk about it, he can watch my Twitch channel because it's recorded. It shows exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looks like you just kind of tightened up and just barely touched him. Looked like you didn't even have any damage, and it just kind of sent him up a little bit.
Yeah, he's got short-term memory anyway. If he remembers back to Pocono and Michigan in the truck series, he raced me the same way. So
Well, it made for some interesting television. And anyways, congratulations on that second place. And are you going to be able to run all of the chase races? I know you're going to be pretty competitive and running for that first place of the non-chase guys. You going to be able to do all four?
no, I gotta let the hooligans handle Talladega next Wednesday, but I'll be here for the final 2 races.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you in 2 weeks then.
Thank you, sir.
Later.
User was moved out of
All
your
right,
channel.
let's bring David Howard Jr. in for third place comment.
User was moved to your
David,
channel.
third place. These guys ran on a fuel strategy. Looked like you probably would have had something for them if things were a little bit different. Tell us about your race.
It was a long night, man. 133 laps. That was intense for sure. A lot of great racing. Congrats to the 8 car there. He stretched it, and the caution come out and may have saved him or may have not. It was close for all of us, but overall a good night. Kind of back to the front and back to the front several times, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
like you were running through the field a couple times. Jamie, I'll let you finish that thought.
No, no, no. It was definitely like you were saying, Mike. We were talking about you had a fast car. You were able to get up there. It just seemed like you constantly had to deal with traffic. Was that the case, or were we kind of just trying to keep the nose clean and wait till the end?
Yeah, that's my MO. I kind of take it easy there early in the race. Anybody can go by me. Even with 30 to go, I'm just fine to let guys go because usually in these races, just like the real counterpart there's always a caution late in the race. So, that's when you really get after it. And, I think I need to step my aggressiveness up if I want some wins in this league. I see some other guys are really racing me tough. So that's fine, though. We both drive race cars out here. So. We'll give it back to them, and man, it's a lot of fun. It's intense racing like that, and it's a blast.
Yeah, I know these guys, all of us here and race real hard, and tensions can get a little bit high, specifically over at this league. And at the end of the day, man, I hope everyone realizes we're all out just having some fun. And I like seeing these guys run hard. I like seeing everyone run hard, and it makes for some good TV. So at the end of the day, man, if we could all get together, have a beer, that'd be great. But let's just look forward to next week, and we can see what's going on and what we can do there. I did notice though a couple times it looked like you were fighting a loose car. Did you end up going around? It looked like you might have lost it a couple times or one.
Yeah, I actually made the mistake of taking two tires there just to try to get some track position. It's pretty tough to pass here, especially the line that I prefer is down low. It's just as fast as the high line. You just can't get the momentum coming off that they get. But that one time I spun it and thought I was done, but I actually saved it through the grass and wound up making my way back up to seventh. So like I said, it was a fast car. Just wish things would have worked out a little different. Maybe have a green white checker there or something. Give us a chance for the win. But we'll take third. I think we finished the best out of the chasers, surprisingly. So we'll take it and move on to next week, man.
Yeah, you definitely. I think you've got positioned well when it comes to points with the chase drivers. You got a bit of a buffer. You led a lap, so should be positioned pretty well when I update the points after the race.
Yeah,
10-4.
I want to hear a little bit more though, just real quick though, David. You had mentioned the fact that you need to probably be a little bit more aggressive. You probably are gonna, Dustin had called it a little bit earlier towards the end of the race that you're probably gonna be, you were fifth going into the chase here. You've got the best finish of pretty much all of the top chase drivers. Now you're in a position where the championship is, within sight with three more races to go. Are we going to see a different David Howard Jr. out there, or what's the story?
I just always kind of race the same. I think if you change anything, that's not good. Last week I came into this thing wondering if I was going to make it. Wound up finishing second. Felt like I had the best car, all night, and once I got in the chase, I just stick to what you do to get there. It's kind of a typical saying that everybody says, kind of just one of those sayings that everybody just takes for granted, but really that's what you got to do. Just keep being the driver that I am, be conservative on my tires, and try to just get good finishes out of it. And if an opportunity comes for a win, we will be more aggressive, because it's going to be important to get in victory lane for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, next week, man, it's we're racing at Vegas this week, but next week is really the crapshoot, man. We got Talladega, but we've got some pretty formed teams here. It doesn't take much to look at these drivers and see who's working with each other. So, if anywhere that was going to work to somebody's advantage, it's going to be Talladega. You definitely got some good teammates, and so hopefully we can see you guys battling for a top five, maybe a win next week.
Yeah, I hope so. That's kind of the odd deal here. I'm kind of the odd man out. Don't really have a set team. Timothy's here sometimes. Sometimes he isn't. He's busy with, his normal life. So that's understandable. So I am kind of odd man out. If he doesn't show up next week, we might at the starting park, by God, saved money time.
I think you'll be able to find a racing partner next week. I know you've made some friends out there, and I know that a lot of people have a lot of respect for you. So I don't think you'll have a problem.
10-4, man. Thank you guys, and thanks to all the viewers out there that watch these things. It means a lot to us. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care. We'll see you next week.
User was moved out of
Well,
the
another one's in the
program.
books, gentlemen. Any final thoughts?
Well, I like my question to David. I think everybody's playing nice, but this is no different than what we see in regular NASCAR. The pressure increases, and so does the driving tension, if you will, and the driving aggressiveness. And I expect probably no less as we go into Talladega. You got a lot of bump drafting there. You've got to work with somebody, and it's I think we're going to see some give and take, but I think we're going to see some drivers that are in the chase that have been a little bit more laid back and modest in the past. I think we're going to see them take it up a notch, and I think it's going to be interesting for those drivers that maybe are the more aggressive drivers in the league. That are also in the chase. So I'm expecting great things in the next three races here.
Yeah, definitely exciting things. I think we're going to race real hard for the next 3 weeks, and these guys are going to take a well-deserved month off before we get into season 3. So, it's gonna come down to it. Should make for some great TV as we get into Talladega, then Auto Club in Charlotte, it should be some pretty entertaining races.
Dustin, any last thoughts?
Yeah, guys. I was actually just gonna talk about next week. It's possible hooking up. I'm gonna sit in Allison's car next week, Talladega. So to throw a little ring ball in there. I mean, I wouldn't mind pushing Howard next week. So he's definitely earned the respect of a lot of guys here. But still up in the air. But just something for our viewers. Might be everybody talks about a crapshoot at Talladega. It's definitely gonna jumble some things up, just like it jumbled the points up tonight. We saw some top guys have some bad finishes. So looking at next week and looking forward to seeing what continues on in this chase.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't throw some video in there of Kenseth going after Kozlowski. So
Yeah,
that
right.
will maybe that will increase the the tempo a little bit.
Well, with that, one final thought, I want to send a shout out again to redlightleague.com. Check them out. They were nice enough to sponsor this race, and hopefully we'll see them back next season for another race sponsorship. And yeah, that's it. I'll looking forward to being in the booth again with you, Jamie, next week, and then Dustin, if you're on the track, we'll get behind you as well.
All right, guys, appreciate it. We'll see you next week.